Imagine walking into the fanciest restaurant in Atlanta dressed like you shop at Goodwill. Because your son's rich in-laws think you're poor and pathetic. They laugh at your clothes, pity your little salary, and even offer to pay you to stay away from your own child. But what they don't know is you're secretly worth more than their entire family combined. Tonight on The Spoken Pen, watch one Southern mom destroy their arrogance with 4 words and a black card they'll never forget. Hit that like button right now. Share this with someone who needs to see justice served, and subscribe to The Spoken Pen so you never miss a story like this. My son Ryan never knew I was rich. To him I was just Mom, Rebecca, and Walsh, the woman who left the house every morning in a 10-year-old Toyota Camry, who packed turkey sandwiches on Wonder Bread, who still lived in the same 3-bedroom ranch in Marietta, Georgia, that he grew up in. He saw me clip coupons, shop the clearance rack at Kohl's, and turn the thermostat down to 65 in winter. That was the version of me he carried into adulthood, and I never corrected it. The truth is I'm the chief operating officer of a privately held supply chain company headquartered in Atlanta. My base salary is $840,000 a year. With bonus and carried interest, I clear well north of $2 million most years. I have a lake house on Lake Lanier I've never invited anyone to, a brokerage account that could pay off the national debt of a small country, and a Black American Express Centurion card I've used maybe 8 times in 15 years. I still live in that ranch house because I like the way the hardwood floors creak in the hallway, and because flashing money never kept anybody warm at night. I grew up dirt poor outside Chattanooga. My daddy worked the night shift at the carpet mill and still couldn't keep the lights on. I learned early that people treat you different the second they think you have something they can take. So when I started climbing, secretary to analyst to VP to COO, I kept my mouth shut, my headlights dim, and my bank balance invisible. I wanted Ryan to grow up hungry for respect, not hungry for an inheritance. It worked. He graduated from Georgia Tech debt-free because he hustled scholarships and night jobs. He landed a solid engineering position at a firm in Buckhead, bought a modest townhouse in Smyrna, and fell in love with Chloe, beautiful, polished Chloe, whose parents own half the luxury car dealerships between Nashville and Knoxville. One Thursday in early March, Ryan called me sounding like he did the day he dented my bumper at 16. Mom, Chloe's parents are coming in from Knoxville this weekend. They want to meet you. Saturday night at the Capitol Grill in Buckhead. Please say you'll come. His voice had that same tight, apologetic edge. I asked the only question that mattered. What exactly did you tell them about me? Long pause. That you've always worked in administration. That money's been tight. That you're simple. Simple. The word landed like a slap. I closed my eyes and felt something shift inside my chest. I'll be there, sweetheart, I said, sweet as iced tea. Wouldn't miss it. I hung up and walked through my little house, the same cracked driveway where Ryan learned to ride a bike, the same kitchen table where he did homework under a single lamp. And I made a decision. If Chloe's parents were the type who measured a woman by her purse, I was going to give them the poorest, most pathetic version of me they could dream up. I wanted to feel skin deep how they treated someone they thought had nothing to offer. Saturday evening I dug out the ugliest outfit I owned. A faded floral dress I'd bought at a Goodwill in 2014 for a frumpy church lady Halloween costume, orthopedic sneakers from the diabetic aisle at Walgreens, and a scuffed vinyl handbag I found at the bottom of the guest room closet. I pulled my silver-streaked hair into a limp ponytail, skipped all makeup except a drugstore coral lipstick 2 shades too bright, and looked in the mirror. I looked like life had chewed me up and spit me out. Perfect. I took an Uber to Buckhead. Didn't want them seeing even a decent car pull up. When the driver stopped at the valet stand glowing under gold sconces, I saw Ryan waiting outside in a charcoal suit, shifting his weight like he was standing on hot coals. The second he spotted me climbing out of a Kia Sorento, his shoulders dropped 3 inches. "Mom, hey," he said, voice flat. "Hey yourself, baby." I gave him my best bewildered granny smile. Inside, Chloe stood beside a corner table in a cream silk blouse and heels that probably cost more than my first car. Her parents were already seated like royalty surveying the peasants. Evelyn and Barrett Harrington. Evelyn wore a sapphire-sheathed dress and diamonds bright enough to guide ships. Barrett had the kind of Rolex that needs its own zip code. Chloe air-kissed me the way you greet someone who might have fleas. "Rebecca, so glad you could make it." Evelyn extended a manicured hand without standing. The handshake was limp, the smile colder than the marble floor. Barrett gave me a quick once-over and a nod that said, "Well, this is unfortunate." I took the worst seat, the one with my back to the room, facing a wall like the charity case they clearly expected. The leather-bound menus had no prices. I opened mine and squinted like the French threw me for a loop. Evelyn noticed immediately. "Need help, Rebecca?" she asked, syrupy sweet. "Oh goodness, yes. I usually just get the chicken wherever I go." She ordered for me the garden salad, dressing on the side, and a cup of soup. "Something light," she told the waiter loud enough for the next table to hear. "We don't want to overdo it." Then the show began. Evelyn started with the casual flexes. Our pilot had to detour around weather out of Knoxville, such a nuisance. We just closed on a little place in Cashiers. Only 5 bedrooms, but the view is divine. Barrett bragged about the new Porsche 911 Turbo S he'd taken delivery of. The allocation list is 2 years, but they know me at the dealership. Every comment came with a flick of the eyes in my direction, waiting for me to swoon. I just nodded like a dashboard bobblehead. "That's real nice." Then Evelyn leaned in, voice dripping concern. "Rebecca, Ryan says you still live in that same little house in Marietta?" "Yes, ma'am. Mortgages paid off now, thank the Lord." Barrett made a sympathetic clucking sound. "Must be tough on an administrative salary. Thinking about retirement." I gave a helpless shrug. "Lord, I wish, but I don't know how I'd make it. Social Security barely covers the power bill these days." Evelyn reached across and patted my hand like I was a stray cat. "We completely understand sacrifice. Not everyone has the same opportunities." Translation: You're poor because you're lesser. The trap tightened when the entrees arrived. Evelyn sliced her $92 Wagyu like she was performing surgery. "Quality is everything," she said, staring at my $18 salad. "You can't put a price on excellence." I smiled meekly and kept eating my iceberg lettuce with fat-free ranch. Dessert was when they drew blood. Evelyn set her fork down and folded her hands like she was about to deliver a sermon. "Rebecca, we need to speak frankly as family. Ryan and Chloe at a pivotal point, new marriage, new house in Vinings, future grandchildren to plan for. Stability is everything." I blinked innocently. "Of course." Barrett jumped in. "We've been extremely generous. We gave them $400,000 for the down payment. Paid for the entire wedding at the Biltmore ballrooms. Set up a trust last Christmas." Evelyn continued. "We're happy to keep helping on our side. But we worry Ryan feels obligated elsewhere." She let that hang until the silence became painful. Ryan's face went ghost white. Chloe stared at her tiramisu like it might save her. Evelyn sighed theatrically. "Rebecca, we know you did the best you could raising Ryan alone. But we've been thinking, if we provided you a small monthly allowance, say $3,000, it could ease the pressure on him. In exchange, we just ask that you not lean on the kids quite so heavily. Let them build their life without extra burdens." There it was. They wanted to pay me to disappear. Ryan finally exploded. "Mom doesn't lean on anyone. This is insane." Barrett raised a hand. Son, we're all adults here. I dabbed my lips with the napkin, set it down neatly, and let 40 years of corporate steel slide into my voice. $3,000 a month, I repeated, calm and clear. That's what my presence is worth to you? Interesting valuation. Evelyn frowned. Rebecca, we're trying to help. I leaned forward just enough to make her lean back. Let me make sure I understand. You've spent roughly $800,000 on the kids so far. And for the low price of $36,000 a year, I vanish so I don't embarrass you at Christmas. Did I get the math right? Barrett's mouth opened, closed. Evelyn's diamonds suddenly looked very heavy. I smiled, but it wasn't the granny smile anymore. Tell me, Evelyn, when you were cutting that Wagyu, did you ever wonder why I ordered the cheapest thing on the menu? Or did you just assume I couldn't afford better? The table went dead still. I continued, soft as Sunday morning but sharp as a switchblade. You've spent the entire evening telling me how much everything costs. Your jet, your mountain house, your daughter's future. You never once asked how I'm doing, if I'm healthy, if I'm happy. You just weighed me on your little scale and found me wanting. So let me fix that for you. I looked at Ryan. His eyes were saucers. Ryan, I'm sorry I never told you this. I'm the COO of Atlantic Freight Solutions. I run everything east of the Mississippi and south of the Mason-Dixon. Last year I made $2.4 million after taxes. I have more liquid net worth than your in-laws have in their entire dealership empire. And I've had it for years. You could have heard ice crack in hell. Evelyn actually laughed. A nervous, high-pitched bark. That's preposterous. You live in a 1970s ranch house. You drive a Camry older than my daughter. Exactly, I said. Because I don't need marble islands to sleep at night. Because I learned a long time ago that the less people think you have, the less they try to take. Chloe's hand flew to her mouth. Barrett's face cycled through red, white, and purple. I turned back to Evelyn. You offered me $3,000 a month to disappear. Let me counter. I'll write you a check for $10 million today if you can name one person you've ever treated with genuine kindness who couldn't do something for you. Silence. I stood up slowly. Every eye in the room was on us now. Money doesn't buy class, Evelyn. It never has. You just proved it in front of God and everybody. I reached into my ratty vinyl handbag and pulled out the black Centurion card. I'd had it so long the metal was worn smooth along the edges. I set it on the table like a queen laying down a sword. Dinner's on me tonight. Consider it a gift from the poor little nobody you just tried to buy off. Evelyn stared at the card like it might bite her. Barrett's mouth opened and closed like a largemouth bass. I looked at Ryan. Walk me out, baby. He scrambled to his feet. As we passed their table, I paused one last time. Oh, and Evelyn? Next time you measure a woman by her shoes, remember? Some of us can buy the whole damn mall and still choose not to. Outside, the March air felt like freedom. Ryan kept pace with me on the sidewalk, half stunned, half euphoric. Mom, why didn't you ever tell me? Because I didn't want you chasing money, Ryan. I wanted you chasing excellence. And look, you did it without a silver spoon. He stopped under a street lamp. I feel like an idiot. You're not an idiot. You're the reason I stayed quiet. I needed you to build your own life. We stood there a long time. Then his phone started exploding. Text from Chloe. He read one aloud, voice shaking. My parents are losing their minds. Every card they have just got declined. All of them. They think it's a system glitch. I almost laughed. It wasn't a glitch. Years ago, I quietly bought a minority stake in the regional bank that handles most of East Tennessee's old money. One text from me to the president that afternoon had flagged every Harrington account for a random fraud hold. Nothing permanent, just long enough to make them sweat through dessert and coffee. Petty? 100%. Satisfying? You bet your sweet tea it was. Ryan looked at me with new eyes. You're kind of terrifying. Only when someone disrespects my child. He hugged me so hard my feet left the ground. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so sorry I let them talk to you like that. You didn't know. Now you do. Chloe came running out 5 minutes later, mascara streaked, barefoot holding her Louboutins. She threw her arms around me. Rebecca, I am so sorry. I sat there and let them, I didn't know what to do. I held her at arm's length. You're not your parents, sugar. But you stayed silent while they humiliated me. That's a choice. Next time, choose faster. She nodded through tears. I will. I swear. Behind her, Evelyn and Barrett emerged looking like they'd aged 15 years. Evelyn's diamonds didn't sparkle anymore. They looked like shackles. Barrett cleared his throat. Rebecca, clearly there's been a misunderstanding. No, I cut in gently. There's been an understanding. You understood exactly what you were doing. I just understood it better. Their final card got declined too. The manager was apologetic but firm. I handed over the centurion again. Add a $200 tip for the waiter who had to put up with this circus. As we walked away, Evelyn called after me, voice cracking. This was cruel. I turned. Cruel as offering a mother money to abandon her son, so you can feel superior. What I did was educational. Ryan drove me home in stunned silence. When we pulled into my driveway, the same cracked concrete where he learned to sink free throws, he finally spoke. So Lake House, huh? I grinned. Memorial Day weekend. Just you, me, and the pontoon boat I've never mentioned. He laughed until he cried. The fallout was biblical. Sunday morning, the Harringtons' accounts were magically unfrozen by 8:57 a.m. sharp. But the damage was done. Word travels fast in country club circles. By Monday, half of Knoxville knew Evelyn and Barrett had been publicly humiliated by a poor mother-in-law who turned out to be richer than all of them combined. Evelyn stopped answering the phone. Barrett took a sudden business trip to Hilton Head. Chloe showed up at my door Wednesday afternoon in leggings and a Georgia Tech hoodie, something I'd never seen her wear. She carried a bottle of grocery store wine and a face full of remorse. I need to talk, she said. Not as your daughter-in-law trying to save face. As a woman who sat silent while my parents treated you like garbage. I let her in. We sat at my old oak kitchen table, the one Ryan carved his initials in when he was 9, and we talked for 5 hours. She told me about growing up terrified of disappointing her parents, about equating net worth with worth, about realizing that night that love shouldn't come with a price tag. When she left, she hugged me like she meant it. I want to be more like you, she whispered. Quiet strength. Real class. You already are, I told her. You just forgot for a minute. Ryan and Chloe set ironclad boundaries. Holiday visits became optional. Financial help was politely declined forever. The Harringtons were informed that any future gifts would be donated to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, in their name if they came with strings. 6 months later, Chloe texted me a photo. Her and Ryan closing on a cabin on Lake Allatoona, paid for with their own money, no help accepted. The caption read, "Learning from the best." I still live in the same ranch house. I still drive a Camry, newer now but nothing flashy. I still clip coupons on Sunday because some habits are comfort, not necessity. Evelyn and Barrett? They're still rich. But every time they see me, at the rare family event they're invited to, I catch them watching me like I'm a loaded shotgun. Evelyn's smile never reaches her eyes anymore. Good. Let her remember. Because the real flex isn't the black card or the lake house or the 8-figure portfolio. The real flex is knowing exactly who you are, never needing to prove it, and still being able to buy the whole damn restaurant when someone forgets their manners. And that, y'all, is a kind of wealth nobody can ever take away. That's the end of one of the most satisfying payback stories we've ever told on this channel. If you felt that justice all the way in your soul, do 3 quick things for me right now. 1. Smash that like button. Let YouTube know you want more stories like this. 2. Share this video with every friend or family group chat that loves karma. 3. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a new upload from the Spoken Pen. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever had to pretend to be less than you are just to see someone's true colors? I read every single one. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. This is the Spoken Pen, where real stories get the justice they deserve. I'll see you in the next one.